Every once in a blue moon, a game comes out that doesn't try to steal your credit card information, gaslight you into buying a DLC, or make you feel like you're working overtime in a digital sweatshop. And that game is Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh dear.
Now, I never got into any luck and turn-based games like Dungeons and Dragons when I was younger. I don't know if it was my younger self being more addicted to video games and struggling to keep my attention on long make-believe games, or just not really being exposed to D&D with the people I grew up around. Oh, except for this one time when my neighbor's daughter got our family to try it out, but it really only lasted 30 minutes before I went home because I was bored. I think I played Fortnite as well that night. Anyway, despite being late to the party, I recently tried out Baldur's Gate 3, and let's just say that Larian Studios somehow did the impossible. They made a game that, get this, was actually finished and good at launch. I know. I'll give you a moment to recover from that absolute shock. For those of you who have been living under a digital rock, Baldur's Gate 3 is a turn-based RPG based on Dungeons and Dragons. Yes, the same game where your friend Steve won't shut up about how his half-orc bard has just reached an imaginary level 10. It's got elves, magic, and questionable moral choices, and dice rolls that determine whether you're a hero or just some guy who tripped over a rock and died. Basically, imagine Game of Thrones had a baby with Skyrim, but then that baby was raised by a bunch of nerds who take storytelling way too seriously. That's Baldur's Gate 3, and it's amazing. Alright, here's the setup. You wake up on a spaceship, but not just any spaceship, a mind flayer spaceship. You know, those creepy squid face guys that look like they've been rejected from every seafood restaurant? Yeah, those guys. And guess what? They shoved a little brain parasite into your skull. This tiny nightmare worm is called a tadpole, and it's basically a death sentence, except, plot twist, for some reason, you're not turning into a tentacle-faced horror. Instead, you get superpowers? Telepathy, mind control, the whole Jedi mind trick, but with way worse side effects. But you're not alone. Turns out a bunch of other poor souls also got the brain slug treatment, and now you've got to team up with them, figure out what's going on, and hopefully not get eaten by demons, cultists, or a very aggressive squirrel.
Get out!
The squirrel lunges at your foot and bites it.
The ultimate goal? Get this tadpole out of your head before you turn into an eldritch horror. But along the way, you're gonna uncover some seriously messed up secrets, get caught in war between gods, and probably make some really bad decisions that will haunt you forever. Or, you know, just embrace the power and go full villain. No judgment. And that's what makes Baldur's Gate 3 so damn special. Most games these days love to pretend your choices matter, but let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, the big moral decision boils down to, do you want the blue ending or the red ending? Baldur's Gate 3 actually reacts to what you do. Every choice, every failed dice roll, every betrayal or alliance changes the story in a way that it feels real.
With the damned drow?
Characters will remember what you did. You make enemies, you make friends. Sometimes you make friends then immediately stab them in the back for profit. It's up to you. And that's the beauty of it. This isn't just a game, it's a full-blown experience where your actions shape the world around you. Alright, now let's talk about the customization in this game, but more importantly, the character customization. If you're anything like me, you could spend hours customizing your character just so it looks perfect. But Baldur's Gate 3 is perfect for that. The customization in this game is so good, it might as well be a therapy session. Want to be a dark elf who stares into the abyss? Go for it. Want to make the hottest dude in Faerun? Easy. Want to create something so terrifying that even the game's AI questions its own existence? Done. For me, I created a badass looking drow who is actually a half-elf and picked the class of fighter so I can wield giant swords and axes. Now, some of you may think this is pretty basic, but I've been loving magic in Marvel Rivals, so don't judge me. My friend Chan, on the other hand, picked a dwarf monk with blue dark skin who, well, gets bonuses for the less clothes he has on.
Why are you naked? Why are you taking off your clothes? Why do you have your dick out? Why are you looking at us like that?
Look at it. I don't
I don't know if I wanna. I don't know if I wanna.
And I won't even get started on my other friend Ditto's choices. So, character customization, 10 out of 10. But wait, there's more. The writing in this game, absolutely insane. Every choice matters, and by matters, I mean you can make a single bad decision and suddenly your best friend's betraying you. Your party's on fire, and a demon lord is offering you a frickin' profit share plan. I mean, in most RPGs, the choices are be nice or commit war crimes, but in Baldur's Gate 3, you can actually romance a bear, and that, my friends, is peak game design. And let's talk about the cinematics along with the story. This isn't some half-baked PowerPoint presentation with voice actors phoning it in. This is actual cinematography. Character expressions, perfect. Dialogue delivery, mwah. I feel like I'm in a movie. A really, really weird movie where I'm best friends with a vampire. But still, the detail and effort put into each scene in this game perfectly immerses the player into the story and dialogue, turning what would feel like a boring side quest in any other game into an extension of an intricate, action-packed adventure. Like, even some of the romance scenes take you to a whole different reality, if you know what I mean. Speaking of romances, yes, you can do some pretty adulty stuff in this game with your companions, but it's not like a weirdo button where you press E to have sex. Throughout the entire game, you'll develop relationships with your companions through your decision making and generate both approval and disapproval from characters, which will lead to scenes with these companions where you make choices to whether or not you'd like to build a relationship with them or not. And if you approach this aspect of the game with a less down bad approach than my friend Ditto,
Let me smash, baby. Let me eat your pussy.
No.
Did you feel that right just now? Oh God, we felt that together. Me and you, baby.
Have to wait.
She's a baddie.
Wait, the people
Baddie.
just
it really enhances the connection you develop to your companions because they can die at pretty much any moment, therefore immersing you much more in the game and making replayability a big thing. This really helps people immerse into the story compared to other games where the side characters really just exist and don't impact your gameplay because they're side characters, unlike in BG3 where it really does. Anyway, I won't go any deeper into this section because I would be throwing out spoilers left, right, and center.
You little scoundrel, you.
So instead, let's talk about one of the best parts of the game, leveling up and turning your character into an absolute beast. In most games, leveling up is just, here, have +2 to your stats. Go forth and continue clicking on bad guys. But Baldur's Gate 3? Oh no, every level up feels like you just unlocked a new superpower. You start as a basic adventurer with a rusty sword and some light trust issues, and before you know it, you're teleporting across the battlefield summoning flaming swords and mind-controlling enemies like some fantasy Professor X. And here's the best part, the game doesn't just throw a bunch of stats at you and expect you to figure out like a math exam. We're not at school, we're playing frickin' Baldur's Gate. The UI is actually user-friendly. Want to know what an ability does? Hover over it. Want to compare spells? Done. Want to know if the skill that you just picked is going to make you a god among men or a liability to your team? The game tells you. Every class has unique abilities that make leveling up feel like Christmas morning. Fighters get extra attacks that turn them into walking war machines, wizards get spells that warp reality, and rogues, they just become stupidly broken if you build them right. I mean, you can sneak attack someone so hard they forgot how to live in a single move. And let's not forget multiclassing, because why settle for being good at one thing when you could be a cleric, warlock, sorcerer with more spells than the game knows what to do with? It's like a buffet of destruction, and I'm here for it. Now, along with the wide range of abilities the game offers, my favourite part is that Baldur's Gate doesn't just allow you to level up from doing side quests and then because of that, easily progress through the main story from your character becoming an absolutely broken beast. It has that Dungeons and Dragons feel, where your decision making actually matters. You can approach any situation 100 ways. For example, the moment I really fell in love with this game was a few hours in when my friends and I fought the Mother Spider in the Withering Depths. Now, I know some of you might call us out for save scumming every time we failed the fight, but it made it all the more better since we were still learning the game and figuring out that we can't just plain old boring fight everything on the hardest difficulty. So after about an hour of making plans of how to defeat the giant spider, something clicked in my brain and I formed a plan. I say you guys should come to mine, because then we can get her with one bridge, and then we go to the far one she's on right now, and that'll be a second bridge, and then we can just fuck her.
I mean,
know what the fuck
it's a
we do.
spider. I don't know if I would want to really engage in that type
Okay,
of
wait,
thing.
no. We realize that every time you break a bridge that the spider is standing on, she takes much more damage than the plain old attacks. So by spacing out our team into a formation where she would have to walk a circle around the bridges, we could have a huge damage output from every bridge that she has to step on. And by leaving Ditto out of the fight temporarily, he can run around the battlefield undetected, reviving us if we die. Baldur's Gate 3 making you think about your actions is what made me fall in love with the game, and is what makes it special because majority of the games out there nowadays rely on cool gameplay and competitiveness to survive, but Baldur's Gate's depth is truly what sets it aside and made it so perfect. Like for example, if you kill the mother spider by dropping her into the Underdark, later on in the story, you can literally revive her and have her on your team to fight another boss. It's crazy how in-depth this game can be. Now, let's talk about mods. Baldur's Gate's community is massive, and there are hundreds of mods that improve the game. But if you're a person that doesn't like playing with mods at all, it's not a problem because the game runs completely fine organically and doesn't require you to download a bunch of mods just to understand it better. But if you are interested in mods, a few I would recommend that we used are the bigger team size that allows you to experience the game with the whole range of characters if you're only planning on playing it once. But don't forget to add the team scale balancing mod, which also makes your enemies more overpowered the more players you have on your team, to balance things out, because otherwise you'd be way too overpowered. Another mod that I would recommend is the WASD Movement Native mod, for people who have never played League of Legends or just hate clicking to move your character with your mouse. This mod can make the game feel a lot more natural for those of you who enjoy feeling more connected to your character rather than just watching your character walk where you click. At the end of the day, Baldur's Gate 3 is proof that new non-competitive games can still be great. It's an RPG that rewards your intelligence, time, and more importantly, your wallet. So if you haven't played yet, fix your life. What are you doing? Set your current games aside for a few weeks and give it a try. If you want to see more stuff like this, then please like, subscribe, and roll a nat 20 on that notification bell. Sorry. And remember, if you ever meet a druid who turns into a bear, just go with it. Peace.